that way for Rich. But that right there, leaving money on the table, is what you're doing when you don't understand investing in mobile homes. And that's what I'm looking to help you stop doing tonight. At least stop leaving money on the table. Because throughout tonight, you're going to hear different stories, case studies, we're going to talk about them, and you're probably going to think about a lead that you got that you left money on the table. That's how I got into mobile homes. I realized I left a lot of money on the table, and I wanted to stop doing that. So who's excited about learning about mobile homes? We have a few people in the middle that's not that excited. I'll have to help you get excited by the end of it. This is going to be interactive tonight. Ask me questions. As Chris said, I'm going to be loud, but all of a sudden I've started hearing my voice crackle a little bit. I'm not concerned about tonight. I'm concerned about making it all the way through tomorrow. But if you can't hear me for some reason, just be really annoying and put your thumb up or whatever. You're not going to annoy me. I just need to know that you can't hear me. There's no point in watching me if you can't hear me. So we're here to learn. That sound good? All right, now who's excited about learning about mobile homes? That's the energy I like. Okay, so again, we're going to go through. I have a free masterclass at the end. If you have to leave for some reason, I couldn't get her the website to have it up, and I have you up here. So at least leave your email back there, and I'll just send it out to you. I want to start out though, going all the way to the end. I want you to quickly write down. I'm not going to ask you to share any of this. Just write down 3 things you're going to do when you're financially free, when money's not the stressor anymore, when I like the term beat money, when like money's not the challenge. Money's not what I'm thinking about every day. What are you going to do? Any 3 things. It's going to be interactive tonight, but I'm not going to ask you to share your individual things. And obviously, this is something to think a little bit more about, maybe at home when you have a little bit more time than the minute or so I'm going to give you now. But just write down any 3 things you want to do. Money's not the challenge. You're financially free. You're probably still going to do deals because it's fun. But you don't have that pressure of money every single week, every single month. Any 3 things that you're going to do. See a few more fingers moving instead of hands moving. Because now we type it all out instead of writing it all out. Okay. Raise your hand if one of your items, doesn't matter the order, has to do with helping more people. We got a good amount in the room. How about traveling? Anyone else? I always get more traveling than helping people. I don't know what that says, but it doesn't matter. We all want traveling, most of us, in some form, different places we want to go, helping different people. How about your third one? Does it have anything to do with spending more time with loved ones, friends? Again, all out of the room. We want different people we want to hang out with, different places we want to go and visit, and different people we want to help. That's a common thing. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is how I've used mobile homes to get me to these 3 things faster. I like to talk about being free to be where you want to be, when you want to be, with who you want to be. That's my goal of it. That's how I've used mobile homes to get there. So now you have that answer. I encourage you to go spend a little bit more time on that. And I want that to help pull you there because this business is not straight up. Not just mobile homes, real estate. There's no business that's straight up if you have a harder time. You have those 3 things that kind of pull you through the rougher times, the frustrating times. It's going to really help. That's what we're trying to do. So now let's bridge the gap from here, wherever you're at, to that end. Does that sound good? And if I get in the way of the slides, just tell me. All right. Why would you sell a nice home like this? Does anyone happen to know there is a famous investor? I say he's famous. He's not online that much. He's not running around the country speaking, but he's famous in my world and a few other people's that says this. He's from Madeira Beach, Florida. Probably, does anyone happen to know this guy? All right, his name is Peter Fortunato. Write that name down. There are a few YouTube videos about him now that COVID happened and forced him online a little bit. If you ever get an opportunity to listen to him speak, I highly encourage it. But he teaches us to ask this question. Because really, We're problem solvers. And how do we solve the problem unless we ask what the problem is? We're giving an offer a lot of times, and it's an offer that we think is what they want. But if we don't ask all the questions, well, then we are not giving the right offer. So why would you sell a nice home like this? So this is a house that we own, and it appraised about $200,000. It had arguably good bank financing. Today, a few years ago, I couldn't say it was great bank financing, but good bank financing. And most importantly, a cash flow. So you tell me, why would I sell a nice home like this? Just shout it out. You don't have to raise your hands.
To buy more houses?
To buy more houses. Any other ideas? Not saying Rich is wrong, but
Because you could have that same dollar amount in mobile home and make double the cash flow.
I could have that same dollar amount in mobile homes and make double the cash flow. So you haven't seen it, and you're on the right track, and Rich has.
I just threw the answer.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. I did a 1031 exchange, sold that one, and bought these 7 mobile homes. The really short on a 1031 exchange is I sold the one house, deferred paying my taxes to a later date to buy these 7. Sold one house and bought all 7 of these. This is not a park. 7 individual parcels, 7 different owners, 7 different transactions. So I sold one, bought 7. Spent $174,000. So a quick math, after paying the realtor, the closing costs and everything, we took some money and spent it. Because yes, there was a time in my career that we just snowballed and put every penny back in the business. But I would encourage you to make that period as short as possible. At least go to a nice dinner, reward yourself. You know, the whole old saying is, you know, it's the journey, not the end. And there's a saying like that I used to make fun of, but we really don't know how long we're going to be here for. So enjoy at least pieces of it. So $174,000 is what we spent on all 7 of these, purchase and closing. We spent $50,000 to get all of them rent ready. A lot of that was the dumpster one up here. It came with a dumpster. But those aren't the reasons I sold that one to buy the 7, as they already alluded to. You're a little off on the math, Jason. I went up to $3,300 a month. That is an 857% higher cash flow. So cash flow is one of the main reasons I love mobile homes, and essentially got addicted to mobile homes. So who here would, let me back up one. Would you rather $4,600 a year or almost $40,000 a year with the same dollars essentially? We had that $50,000 that did not come in the, and we had to bring that out of our money, but who would take the 40? So those of you that aren't raising your hand, we're gonna have to work on you throughout the night. It's math. All right, so 857% more. That's what originally got me into mobile homes. And we'll talk about some of the other reasons of why I love mobile homes. But from the buy and hold aspect, it's a lot of cash. Real quick, a little bit about me. I am from Plant City, Florida, in between Tampa and Orlando. It's a little town. I put this tower up here because we are the winter strawberry capital of the world. And this is my family, my big brother, dad, mom, my little brother, and then I am the middle child there. Ooh, my remote's gonna die, so it's gonna be fun. I grew up middle class family. We went on vacations. We didn't have like everything. We weren't spoiled, but we never, I think, really realized we didn't hear a lot about money. Until one night, probably 8 or 9 years old, I hear loud voices coming from my parents' bedroom, and when you're that age, you crawl on the ground because for some reason that's quieter. And I'm listening in, and my parents are talking about money, and the conversation wasn't good. And then fast forward a little bit, at dinner one night, we find out that we have a stack of credit cards like this that are all maxed out. And then my parents tell us that we are filing for bankruptcy. To this day, my mom doesn't say the word bankruptcy. She calls it the beat. Because they raise us with high integrity, and bankruptcy is about the opposite. said you were going to pay something and you're not. So, like it or not, life's going to go on. And it did. And I moved out with my friends and stayed local-ish, 20, 30 minutes away. So that's kind of a far distance in Florida. Here, that's probably going to be your neighbor in some parts of the area. But we stayed local-ish, my friends and I. We were not good tenants. These are a few of our eviction notices. These are evictions for parties. So who's the landlords in the room? All right, so it's more this part of the room. Have you had to evict for parties at all? Anyone? No? You're lucky. Yes?
No.
Okay.
I do a really good job of screening.
Really good. So yeah, you wouldn't have rented to me then.
No.
So 20-year-old Adrian and his friend, we had some parties. Spaghetti wrestling parties, mud wrestling party, pudding wrestling party. The one we didn't get caught for was a pool party inside the living room with the little kids' pool. You don't rent to 20-year-old Adrian and his friends. But without really realizing what I was doing, I remember I said we were problem solvers. I said, all right, I'm tired of getting evicted. So I bought a house. And a family member that's a mortgage broker, he said, well, why don't you just buy a house? So I did. This is back when they just gave anyone a loan. You signed a piece of paper, $1,500, I moved in this house. Then I became the landlord and realized why we sucked, to be frank, as tenants. What I did that was really smart is what's now considered house hacking, is I took my mortgage, I divided up amongst my friends that were living in all the rooms, and I lived for free. At 20 years old, not with mom and dad. And that was really cool. So fast forward a few years, I said, well, can I do this again? The bank said, yeah, you can. But this time you're gonna lose a little bit every month, but don't worry, real estate goes straight up. You'll refinance in a few years. So I bought a house, the second one. A few years later, I went to go refinance. And real estate had stopped going up. It was going down. And I had that adjustable rate mortgage. So I went from losing a little bit every month to a little bit more every month. I eventually gave the house up as a short sale. Obviously, it dinged to my credit, dinged to my ego, but that integrity thing, it kind of looped back the feelings of the bankruptcy. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. You can see, what was it, about a 48% loss is what I sold it for. But I didn't give up because I didn't lose this house. I think one of the basic fundamental pieces of real estate is if you buy it right and you are renting it right, obviously then you want to, if you're going to sell, you're going to sell it right. No matter what asset class we're in, we need to be able to do that. So I did that right with this house, but not the other one. So I did not give up again. Stayed in. A few years later, I ended up at a RIA, just like this. And I started talking to everyone. I got addicted to the networking, the education. Has everyone met someone new here tonight? Okay. If you have not, do that before you leave. We're going to talk a little bit more about networking, but that is, so I'm part of it, is the education. But the other part is the networking. Meeting someone new in the room, because you never know when you might or might not need that person in your network. So while I'm there, I made a friend, Jessica, and she says one night, Adrian, my broker has someone that needs to sell their mobile home. Would you be interested? This is the mobile home she was talking about. Who wants to hear about it? All right, we got most people. Good. People that didn't raise their hand, cover your ears and your mouths. That was a joke. And by the end of the night, you're either going to laugh at me or you're going to laugh at my jokes. One of the two. I know they're not all great. This is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1965, single wide with addition there. On that side, there's an addition on the back side. The septic tank is right here underneath the back porch. I can go on and on and on, all the things I did wrong. 0.09 acres. But at this point in my investing career, I was frustrated of not finding better deals. I was uncomfortable being comfortable. What I mean by that is we lived in a nice house. We had a decent income. Like, we could have just gotten by, but I knew I wanted more, which now I can put in words than I couldn't, that I wanted to travel more, help more people, and spend more time with loved ones. So I took the risk. I was frustrated, but I said, you know what? I'm going to take the risk because I can. I bought this for $16,000 cash, spent the rest of my savings. Did not tell my wife at the time that my plan was we were going to make it big or we were going to like crash. I heard all these successful people had this like splat story, and she would have been scared, but I told her my plan was we were going to have one of the two. And luckily it worked out. So I bought it for $16,000, made some mistakes because I didn't have any good education on it. I just heard about these mobile homes, and it's one reason I'm out there teaching it now. So let's just say I have rounded up to about $20,000 in it. I instantly was renting it for $475 a month, which I didn't need a calculator to figure out those numbers work. So what would I do next?
Buy another one.
Buy another. I went out and started buying more mobiles. And since then, I have transitioned my business, sold off the single family ranch style houses, and today we buy and rent long-term single unit mobile homes with the land. That is the active business, day-to-day business is we buy and rent them. And by the way, it's in Central Florida, so I'm not here to like, you bring me deals, I want you to buy them. I'm not gonna, well, some of the numbers I'm hearing from the room, maybe I do want to start buying here. But our business and everything is in Central Florida. That is where I operate, and we buy and rent long-term. We have other assets, yes, but the active business is the buy and rent long-term. A little bit about, then I started speaking locally because I shouldn't say no one, not many people in the mobile home business are loud and proud about it. I became one of the rare people in the area, and then I ended up writing a book about it and traveling around. Now I travel around speaking around the country because it fulfills my travel, and I get to help other people, we talked about earlier. So what are some of my missions with Lifestyle REI? It is to bring sunshine, joy, and happiness into your life and business. One of the reasons I'm a bright yellow color, which I do have a new pair of shoes that match now. I can't wear these around her. She hates Hey Dudes and bright yellow shoes. So it's to bring sunshine, happiness into your life, business. It is to teach from my success and my failures, because it's not all perfect. If someone tells you it's all perfect, I would be skeptical of them. I haven't found anyone yet that is all perfect. And if I can help someone not have a bankruptcy or not have a short sale, then it makes it worth talking about the bad times. And then lastly, I am a platform stage for some of my friends that run very successful real estate businesses, but don't want to do all of the business side of teaching. And I just tell friends like, Mark, hey, just come in and teach what you do. You have X hours to teach. So Mark is the best mobile home fix and flipper. We'll talk about one of his deals and some of his tips towards the end there. But that's his bread and butter. He does a lot of other things, but he fixes and flips mobile homes with the land. All right, now I need some interaction again. Which is the mobile home, which is the manufactured home, and which is the trailer? Don't raise your hand, yell it out.
Left is trailer, middle is mobile home, right is manufactured.
Anyone agree? Anyone disagree? Have another idea? Nick?
They're all one and the same.
They're all one and the same. Why would you say that?
Because they're all manufactured facilities. They all have wheels in some way, shape, or form.
So you're saying they're all manufactured in a facility, or all have. So my answer is similar to that. My answer is if I am buying it, they're all going to be a trailer. I don't care about the year. I don't care about the technical parts. Because doesn't a trailer sound really cheap? The C value kind of goes down. And if I'm selling it or leasing it, I don't care what year it is, it's a manufactured home. Because doesn't that sound expensive and strong and worth a lot more money? Our words matter. And I will use those two terms unless someone corrects me multiple times, and I'm not going to insult them. But our words matter, not just in real estate, but everywhere we're at. So we need to pay attention to that. So that is my answer here. Yes, there's some technical years with it. There's a lot of mobile home investors already in the room, which I am excited about. Because a lot of rooms I have to just get you to even accept the idea of investing in mobile homes. But for the people that have not done any mobile homes, Is anyone willing to admit like you're scared of the topic of buying a trailer? That maybe it's a tornado missile, or no? So no one's scared of it. All right, there's not many rooms I get to be in that no one is
Rain's not
good at admit
this.
that. But if for some reason you decide that you are, throw out the questions and objections. Because I want to, part of the goal here tonight, which again, this room is more advanced than a lot of rooms I speak in. I want to make sure if you have some challenges with mobile homes, we upgrade your mindset to where you can accept, because we can't invest in them unless you have, okay, these can make money and these are safe investments. That's like the very first step I typically have. But this room's a little advanced on that. All right, so let's talk about mobile homes with lot rent. There's three main ways to invest in mobile homes. You have just the home. You do not own dirt. You own the unit, typically within the mobile home park, and you pay that owner of the park, the manager, every month, lot rent, space rent, land lease, there's different terms around the country. But you only own an aluminum box. These are going to be your lowest dollar entry into housing. And yes, even though it's a vehicle, it is in the housing law still. Because people ask me that question a lot, oh, well, it's technically a vehicle, so do I have to follow housing? Yes, you're in the housing world still. Lowest dollar to get in. But the downfalls are, you don't make the rules. The person that owns the dirt gets to make the rules. Doesn't mean that's good or bad, you just need to know these things getting into it. I've made some really good money in these. These are the highest return on your investment you can get in. Lower dollars, higher return on investment is typically what you see there. They really got the momentum moving whenever I invest in these. Currently, we are not buying any of these. It doesn't mean we don't at some point. So that's one way to get into them. You can also buy the mobile home park. So that means you are the landowner. There's two main ways to run a mobile home park. You can own everything, all the homes, all the dirt, everything. You own a flat apartment complex. You can also own just the land, and people pay you that to park it there, the lot rent every month. So you have a big parking lot. And you have a combination of the two. Who here has mobile home parks? I know I talked to a handful of people. Yeah, I thought there was another person. So mobile home parks have gotten more competitive in the last years. Think of the numbers similar to the apartment world. So the hedge funds got into apartments years ago. They get into the mobile home park world. There's still a lot of really good deals out there. Just know that when you get into a certain dollar amount, the syndications start in, and then Wall Street has cheaper money than I do. If you have cheaper money than Wall Street, let's talk privately afterwards, because I want to borrow your money. No, that's what you're competing with. Just know that there's more government regulation. This is not a pro or con. These are just things you should know getting into them. I have found that I like the middle a little bit more. The single unit mobile home with the land. So I own the dirt, so I get to make the rules. I get the home and land, so the dirt, so if a tornado, in my case a hurricane, wipes it away, I still own dirt. I don't have that higher risk up there. So that's where I landed. Well, another reason is there's not many people in this little middle. The hedge funds are still scared of me. And I like to go where people are scared. Because the simple supply demand, there's less people in it, and there's still a lot of people that need help. Well, that means we get to help them and we get rewarded for it. Are we all together here? Making sense? Yes? All right. So the great return on investment. I think we've touched that. Does anyone need any more on the return on investment? The recession resistant. That's where I get a little hang up. Not many people talk about that. One of my friends says, as investors, we're all greedy capitalists. We're here to make money. But there's another side of it. That's the short-term thinking. Yes, we need to have money that we're making, we're in business. But what about recession resistant? Why would I say that these are recession resistant? Besides Rich. Affordable. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
I want other people to.
No, I know.
Amy says affordable.
I'm here to help. So.
I love that. Well, why would you say affordable? You're on the right track that I'm going to talk about.
Because if nobody's making money, they can't afford it.
The-
Pay their bills.
Though typically in a recession, here, before I go to that, I read somewhere on the internet, so it has to be true, that, thank you, you got my joke, but it's going to be around these numbers. A 2 household income makes up about $200 extra a month that they can just spend on whatever. So that number, let's just say it's 300 on like whatever it is, it's a very low number. So when we have a recession or someone loses their job, and they only have $200 extra a month, what's going to happen? They probably have to go down a rent level. And that continues happening until we get to the affordable housing space, the workforce housing space, where a lot of mobile homes are in that space. So that is one reason I really like mobile homes, is they're recession resistant. Remember that short sale story I told you about? I'm not going to repeat that cycle ever again. My goal here is not to convince you to sell everything and buy mobile homes like I did, but I'd like you to add some to your business so you have a recession resistant business and you don't make the same mistake that I did and not be able to pay your bills. That make sense? We're good? So let's look at some mobile homes. These are all different mobile homes that we have. The one I want to talk about is the bottom there with the yellow, vintage yellow countertops. Remember that word choice? That vintage makes it sound good. That home, 1972, double wide, and did not have the power on when I was going and doing the walkthrough inspection. So I'm walking through there, right next to the refrigerator there is a hallway, and I turn down, and I go in and look into one of the bedrooms. Looking down, the floor looks really weird, and I figure out what it is. So the people in the room that are younger than me, or my age or younger, this was carpet, this really long hair. Like, it's older than you are. Shag carpet. They actually had a rake that they would rake the carpet to stand it up nice and pretty. So no matter what words I use, I can't get shag carpet to come back in style. I've tried. So we know it's not coming back in style. And it's this really old carpet. What does that imply to me? That the subfloors are probably original, right? Because you're probably not going to pull up the carpet, replace the subfloors, and then put the same old dirty carpet back down. Well, 1970s, the subfloors were made out of particle board. Who's got particle board wet? What happens? Explodes, disintegrates, it's glued together sawdust. So that automatically told me, without even having to check the subfloors, we have shag carpet, the chances of having particle board floors is really high. It's not that hard to replace all the subfloors in a mobile home. It's not even that expensive. I mean, COVID time it was, because lumber made everything expensive. But in general, it's not that expensive or hard. But it sucks if it's not in your budget. So these are just little things like that. So you want to look for that. They stopped it in the 80s. You know, different manufacturers were different. But really, if you see a really old carpet original, you want to assume subfloors are particle board. And then in the 80s, you just kind of want to check. You want to, maybe tomorrow remind me to make sure we do the mobile home dance. And I'll show you that, of how to make sure that the floors are strong there.
I probably won't, because I might fall through.
Who knows what this plumbing is called? It's gray. It looks like the PEX, but it's gray. It's an odor from the 80s. Does anyone know what this is? Rich?
Polybutyl.
Say it louder.
Polybutyl.
Thank you, because I struggle. I'm getting polybutyl. I struggle with the word. The word doesn't matter. If you see this in the 1980s, and what you're actually looking for is these brass fittings. It's not if they fail, it's when they fail. There's a class action lawsuit, and insurance most likely will not cover it. I have not found, I used to have an insurance company that would cover it, but they don't even insure the mobile homes anymore. They see it, they won't cover it. Again, it's not that hard to replace plumbing. Remember, these are built-in facilities. It's not like they have plumbing running all over the place. They're built very efficient. So if you see that, you need to know, yes, we need to replace the plumbing. Not just so insurance you can get it, so you don't have water leaks. Who's had the water leak underneath the sink? Yeah. Do your residents tell you the minute it starts or 3 months later? Because they have so much junk underneath there and they don't notice it. mean, I've done the same in my house. Like I noticed it when my clothes are wet in the next room. So that's one reason you want to look for these things in the mobile home. So again, 1980s, you see this gray plumbing, plan to replumb the whole home. James.
Is that the same type of, I know the fittings are different, but is it the same type of pipe as PEX? Like, could you use a shark pipe with the?
Oh, great question. So can you use a shark pipe with it? I've had insurance tell me I don't care. No.
Okay.
And I don't know what a shark pipe is, 20, 30 bucks each. So kind of by the time you start replacing all of them, it's not much more, it's not a big difference just to replace it with PVC or PEX. So I would go that route because you're gonna make, if you get insurance, you're gonna make them happier. And then if you go to sell it on the open market to someone, you're gonna need it too. If it's one or two spots left, sometimes we'll buy one and most of it's gonna be plumbed and it has like just one bathroom with that. Depends on the budget or where I have been at in my career. I have just replaced the one and I'm like, okay, if it leaks, it's leaking underneath the home, which is still not good. Because you can get mold buildup and stuff. But it didn't destroy the home, so I can't say I haven't done that. The right way to do it is to replace it all. Great question. But what I teach is to figure out all of this stuff, like we're gonna walk through, and then to hire someone to do it. I have done a lot of stuff myself. I have learned that I am way faster and way better at making deals and solving problems than I am at physically working on it. But I am not against going and physically working on it some, because when I go and do a job and I worked on it, and then I go to hire Samuel and he tells me, well, that's a 4-hour job. I'm like, no, it takes me 4 hours. I thought you were a professional at this. So it kind of gives you some type of gauge. So there's no right or wrong here, especially if you're already in the trades, then yeah, use some of your skill set. But you really, the first thing you need to know is how to look at these things and know what to, like that plumbing, what to look for. Because like I taught Jimmy that it's a big deal to know it going in, so you do your numbers right, because that's where it all starts. Remember when you buy it right? You've all heard that? All right. Who believes that this is the only family that lives in mobile homes? The trailer trash. I hope.
I do.
You do? All right. At least you're honest.
I know mobile home parks.
At least you're honest.
All of my box.
I always have to be the one to say it's trailer trash. Because everyone tries to be so nice to me and so nice to. There's a stereotype of trailer trash. Because country songs, Netflix specials, they've all made fun of it. And it's funny to laugh at that. Every little kid is born with a tall boy natty light. It's funny.
At least he's got shoes on. I mean, most of them.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, you're right. I need to get an updated picture.
Now ChatGPT fix that.
So it's funny, but I'll tell you, it's not always true. Who lives in most of our properties is the blue-collar handyman, handywoman. This is the electrician, the plumber, the AC tech, the road construction crew, the carpenter, and they take pride in their home. It's not so much the home because it used to have wheels on it, it's the area it's in, how you fix it up, who you're looking to attract. You're getting a lot higher rent in your place now, so you're probably having a little less trailer trash and a little bit more blue collar. That doesn't mean that we don't have white collar in our properties. We do market, I'll say, to the blue collar, just because that's who I relate to the most. But we've had, when we still have people that moved in straight out of college, making $75K a year, IT at home, working from home, and for that market, that is above the median income. He wanted a lot with a fenced yard for his family. He didn't mind that it was a mobile home. So it's not, that stereotype doesn't have to be true. You can make it true. It depends on you. So we busted that myth. Does anyone still have any hang up? Because this is a really important one. If you still believe it's all trailer trash, the rest of what we talk about is not going to help you. Does anyone want to talk about trailer trash anymore? All right. And the what's the trailer trash boys or the
Trailer
Park
Park
Boys? There's a really funny video that gets sent to me like every 3 months. Like it's a brand new video to me by different friends, and it is funny. I watch it every time. It's a great video. Again, it doesn't have to be true. So let's talk about marketing. How do we market for mobile homes? We can do all of this. MLS, we're gonna actually talk about MLS deal in a little bit. Google AdWords, online, Facebook, door knocking, signs on the side of the road, letters, everything can work. Calling, dialing for dollars, all of it can work. But what do we have to do? There's a very small difference between the mobile homes and houses. Anyone have any idea of what that difference is? For our marketing. But no, I appreciate the people. Anyone else have any guess of what it would be that we have to do in our marketing? No one? Anyone want to know? You want to know? Just you? I can whisper it in Mary's ear.
Then it has to be under automobiles?
No. So the difference in our marketing is really simple. We change the word house to mobile home. Again, it sounds really simple, but remember our words matter. So if we just say, I buy houses, well, people don't know you buy mobile homes. So all the marketing can essentially work. You do the same marketing, but for mobile homes. The Mark that I mentioned earlier, he's buying right now off the MLS, and he does really well with letters. I've never done well with letters. Actually, I'm probably the worst. I have probably some of the worst success rate with letters of any successful real estate investor. I can tell you a lot of things I did wrong, but then again, Mark does it really well. They all can work, just which one are you going to dedicate to? What has worked best for me though, is networking. I am a networker. I go around and tell people what I do all the time. So I have made a lot of my leads by coming to my area. So if this was in Polk County, Florida, Plant City, Florida, I would be saying, I would tell everyone, actually my shirt would say, my wife buys mobile homes, and I would have talked to as many people as I could at the beginning and said, I buy mobile homes. By the end of the meeting, someone, at least one person would come up to me and go, why would you buy mobile homes? They're all trailer trash. You go down in value, blah, blah, blah. You're right, send me all your leads. And they would. And they actually thought they were worth those leads, so they would ask for like $200 referral fee. I sent them 500. So I'm like, that's really cheap. So other investors are great lead sources. The other one are the realtors. Who's a realtor in the room? All right, so you get paid, well, on the closing price, right? And you still want to help people. And mobile homes have sometimes one less zero on the closing price. You're gonna do the same amount of work for less money. Depends on how busy you are, but not always. So I became an information source to realtors. Any help they ever need, I help them out. And every once in a while, he would call me and just say, ask me some questions. Can you just buy this property and help them out? I don't want to deal with it. It's not worth my paperwork. I've had realtors tell me it's not worth the paperwork. Now, I am not licensed, but I always find a way to make sure they stay in the deal, even if it's their birthday and they get a birthday card from me. Because realtors can't accept referral fees from a non-realtor, but they can accept the birthday gift. You know, there's a way that I believe everyone should be paid. Other wholesalers, other investors, if you're in the game for a long time, pay people and pay them well. Because who are they going to come back to? The person that paid them well and help them out. So those are my best two lead sources. Right now in my market, for me, realtors are a little bit better, partially because I made it popular in my area to buy mobile homes. But there's still, at the end of tonight, as much as I try, there's gonna be at least one or two people in the room that are gonna decide, all right, mobile homes aren't for me. Great, talk to the people that mobile homes are for. When you come across it, wholesale it, bird dog it, help the people out and make some money. So it's about helping people and making money together. We go with the marketing? So this is me, marketing, everywhere I go. Those of you that are Facebook friends with me know that it's really hard to see me without a yellow shirt on. And my marketing for me is fun for me. I like some attention, or I wouldn't be wearing a yellow shirt all the time. If this, for the introverts that are like, nope, too much attention, don't do it. The piece about marketing, which I can and do talk about all day, I love the topic, is it has to be fun for you and your personality, or you won't continue to do it. That's why as soon as I got sent the Hey Dudes, that bright yellow, by a friend. People send me yellow stuff all the time, and as soon as I saw them, sweet, that looks like fun for me. to wear. I think I mentioned earlier, my wife's like, you weren't wearing those around me. She doesn't like that much attention. She'll put up with a shirt and stuff, but she's like, when you start going all yellow, she's like, that's where I draw the line. Her personality's different. So the piece of the marketing is you have to figure out what works for you, and you can talk about all the time and make it fun, and then you won't stop doing it. A few people I want to quickly introduce you to. This is Charlie right here. Earlier, actually I don't think I did mention, some of the parties we had, one of the eviction notices was for parking a motorcycle in the living room. And so remember, we're from Central Florida. Who's been to Central Florida before? Have you been in the winter? No? Then you don't know. In Central Florida in the winter, it can get really cold, like sometimes 40, 42 degrees. Yeah. This is not a joke. Charlie did not want to wait for his motorcycle to warm up. So that's why he parked in the living room. This is like one of those, you can't make this stuff up. Well, we got an eviction notice for it. So anyways, so that's Charlie, one of my best friends. Up here, that's Charlie's son Parker, the Lion King symbol pose. I'm holding him up. And his onesie says, my parents' friend's wife buys mobile homes. Why would it say that? Why would it say marketing? But it's fun marketing for me. And they thought it was fun as well. I need to get it updated because Parker's much older now. It wasn't fun handwriting it out, because if you've ever used a felt pen, it takes a long time. But the point there, it's fun for me marketing. Only copy it if it's fun for you marketing. And if you copy it, feel free to use my phone number. All right, so this one's Glacier National Park. That was actually last year. When we got to the top, we did like a 17-mile hike. And we got to the top of this peak. And is anyone a hiker here that loves nature and hiking? But you think a lot when you're on the trail. Like, that's a lot of us hikers, you're alone on the trail, or even if you're with someone, you're just a lot of the time in your mind. And there I was thinking, well, I didn't have to ask anyone off. It was a week and a half trip because I controlled my time. That's one reason I took that picture. Last person I want to introduce you to, well, that's my little brother, and that's a friend. So we have the whole series, my brother's wife, my friend's wife. That was not planned out. It was a fun marketing that caught on. The other piece I should tell you about this style marketing is I am the person next door. I like to go and talk to you, sit down, solve your problem. I do it, but I'm not the biggest fan of giving you a cash offer, Rolo over the phone, and never seeing you. Some people want that. I'm usually not the person to solve their problem. I help the people that are scared. This might be the second real estate transaction of their life. I've done some of these. They bought and they've never sold in their entire life, and they're elderly. That is a really scary moment for those people. So I'm the person that goes and sits with them. I schedule 3 hours to talk to people. Sometimes it's a few minutes, and sometimes it's over 3 hours. That's the person I love to help. So I am the person next door, so that's why my branding is a t-shirt. Even though it's a little bright, it's laid back. So you get some of these pieces, whatever your personality, whoever you're there to help, is how your marketing should be. Last person, this is my second grade teacher, Ms. West. So when I am back in Florida, I go to yoga and Pilates multiple times a week at the Y. And whenever I was writing my book, I told Ms. West, because I see her there all the time, I'm writing a book. I'm probably your last student you'd ever think to write a book. And she didn't reply. She stayed silent. I am smart enough that I did not ask a second time. All right, so this is my marketing. Today, it's most of my marketing. I'm changing a little bit because if you heard, I moved to Denver, so it is a little bit hard to network when you are not in the same state. But that is the type of marketing I'm keeping with. But in Florida, we can be outdoors all year. We may not want to be in the summer all the time, but we can go swimming and go scalloping. So if we're gonna go swimming, scalloping, how do we market? Because I told you, I'm always marketing, but I don't want to wear a shirt when I go out and about. So I figured out a way to still get attention, still tell people what I do while I'm swimming. If you like it or not, you're gonna remember me. Memorable marketing will cost you less time and less money. A lot of times the guys in the room are like, I don't like this, move on, move on, move on, but you're gonna remember me. And you're gonna remember that my Wi-Fi is mobile homes. So, I mean, that is my goal. It's not always about being liked, it's about being remembered, because people that don't like this still call me to buy their mobile home, or, you know, a wholesaler. So memorable marketing, make sure you got that, write it down. Whatever memorable is for you in your world, memorable marketing that's fun for you will cost you less time and less money. You ready to move on? No? Usually I have a deep voice really quick saying yes. We can stay here all night if the guys want to. Okay, let's talk about financing mobile homes. Yeah, Amy, what banks are going to finance this?
I own one like that.
You own this one?
Yeah.
So do I.
It's got 2 holes in the roof. You can come get it.
Did a bank finance it?
I just the land.
Huh?
I just bought the land.
You just bought the land,
Yeah.
okay. So, what bank do you think is going to finance this 1960s that comes with most of its siding? No? No? You don't? Not Bank of America? You don't think so? So banks don't finance these old ones. Real quick on bank financing, which I have this deeper in that master class that you get, but the real quick on financing mobile homes. The big banks, think of the names, the Chase, the big ones on Wall Street. They'll go back about 20 years. So whatever year we're in, so right now, 2004 is about how far they go back. I don't like those banks anyways, but you need to know it in case you're going to fix and flip. If you're gonna go further back, you want to contact community banks and credit unions. That's who I suggest you contact regardless. Figure out, find the one that will finance those for you as an investor, or also for your fix and flip. If you are going to fix and flip, you need to know what the bank is going to require, right?
You have to have, in Missouri, they have to have a permanent foundation inspection.
Yeah, so there's a permanent foundation inspection. There's a lot of little things. It's not that complicated. The permanent foundation inspection, I don't want to go all the way through it, but that hangs up so many people. We're talking a few thousand. We're talking less than a roof in cost to make it a permanent foundation. There is a very... I'm sorry?
It can't have been moved.
More than once.
Yeah, it can't be moved. Yeah. Thank you, Jill. There is actually, so there's a tiny exception to that. I've only had one person tell me in the entire country that they've seen the transaction go through. But your little nugget, if it has been moved, a VA loan can buy it. What I don't like about that is now you need a buyer for a mobile home that has a VA, that has a mortgage broker that understands how to close that. That is a really small market. So I don't love having a really tiny market, but if you're in that situation, that is a little nugget of who you can sell to. I've talked to one mortgage broker in my years of traveling that said, because people tell me that all the time, I'm like, well, have you closed one? I'm like, well, no. So I've heard one close, but that is, you know, if you know these little nuggets, then that's how you can piece together a deal sometimes. All right, so then the very important year for all mobile homes, but especially the financing world, is June 15th, 1976. It's not my birthday. It's the year that the federal government stepped in and did something good. Like or don't like the federal government, this is something that I think we all agree they did something good. They made a standard amongst mobile homes. Before that, every state area just kind of made their own rules for it. I call it the Wild Wild West. They made some standard, like they got rid of aluminum wiring. And there's been other upgrades throughout the years, but that is the first year. So there's no banks that finance older than that. They're scared of it. So how would I finance this older than that mobile home? The 1960s comes with most of its siding. It is home and land together. How can I finance that besides cash?
Owner financing.
Owner financing. Yep. So owner financing is a really big part of my business. And then the other one is private lending. Friends and family. People that I actually know. I don't put a Facebook post out. You have to be really careful at SEC. I see people breaking that law all the time. Just because they do it doesn't mean you can and should. But it's friends and family. Probably people in this room that aren't talking about that. There's probably, so it's friends and family and owner financing is how we would finance something like this. They can be financed. There is that big myth that they're not financeable, and I want you to leave here not believing that. Because I can upgrade your mindset and get you believing in mobile homes, and the next step is believing that this can make money. And by the way, the roof did not leak in that, or I may not have. If the roof leaked in that like his, the home would have been not salvageable. But the roof did not leak here. And this is one that you're judging the book by its cover, because the inside, I'm not saying it was great, but it was not as bad as the outside was. And the roof was a very important piece of that for me. Are we good on the financing? At least like you're not thinking anymore, no, you cannot finance loan loans. I get that pushback all the time. Cool. So let's look at this home. This is Joe and Sharon, some of my students. They are in Ocala, Florida. So that's a little north of Tampa, to kind of give you an idea. This is in 1982 or 84. My memory's messed up there. Quarter acre, double wide, obviously got a little carport, mobile home. And they looked for mobile homes, so they invest in single families as well. They found this on the MLS. Now, people say the MLS is super competitive in Florida. It is. So they're not like looking on the MLS, okay, well maybe we'll put an offer in tomorrow or Friday. They see the listing, and if it's in their ballpark at all, one of them's driving there and one of them's on the phone. So you've got to be fast on the MLS, but there are still deals there. I am currently making offers on the MLS. Maybe I'm early, maybe I'm not, but I am actively right now making MLS offers on mobile homes. That is part of my investment strategy. So the problem they solved, remember we're problem solvers, right? This was an inherited property. What you may not know about Florida is we're sometimes considered God's waiting room. People retire, they move down to Florida, they enjoy their life. When they pass away, their family that's up north, maybe here, says, well, I don't want this old trailer. Look, that we have a lot of inheritance properties in Florida. So that's exactly what this was. They came down, they just got a few things they wanted. It wasn't like torn apart, but there was stuff all over the place. They just left everything that they were not valuable to them. So it needed to clean out. It needed repairs, but it wasn't like a fix and flip repairs. So it was kind of that middle ground thing, but it wasn't enough that someone that would buy it and just straighten it out. So it was that middle ground. Financing. They got non-bank financing, and they got it at 30 years, 80% of ARV, a fixed rate. And we had to have a few conversations about it because they didn't fully believe that was possible, that was out there. And we had a few conversations, and I kind of pointed them in some directions, some things to say, and that's what they got. We're going to look at the actual numbers in a minute. But you have to remember, if you believe it can happen, it can happen. Ford says if you think you can, somebody help me with the quote.
Whether you can, if you think you can't, you're right.
Whether you think you can or can't, you are right. And that is one of the, right here. So we work through a little bit to help them believe it's possible. Rehab. So the rehab was, again, not huge. They did have to raise the countertops some. They did not replace any of the boxes. The boxes all had damage. The lady that lived there was in a wheelchair, so there's a lot of wheelchair damage along there. But they just repaired what was already there. There was old carpet. It wasn't painted. It was from the 80s. Everything was original. Now they paid their son to do a lot of the work, and since then he's actually taken that money and fixed and flipped the mobile home himself because they were teaching him as they actually paid him. So it took him about 30 days to do the work on it, and then they put it for rent. They put it for rent for $1,575. And in that market, that's the top of the affordable housing space. So we have to remember numbers as we look through all this. They might be different here. From some of the numbers I'm hearing here, you might have better numbers than we have. Add a zero, take it off a zero, just think of percentages. They put it for rent, and it rented quick. That's the point here. So let's look at the numbers. They purchased it for $110,000. It was listed at $125,000. So they obviously did some negotiating. Then we're out of state. Owners inherited. They said, hey, well, did you know about this? Did you know about this? So they used a little bit of that negotiating. Closing costs, repairs. They have $118,000 total in this property. They borrowed $110,000. They made the math really easy for us. Sorry, 108. How much money do they have in the deal of their own? 10,000. Thank you, Jason. So that's 10,000 out of their pocket, which 10,000 is a lot of money, but in general, for getting into a property, it's not a lot. I mean, do we do no money down deals? Yes, we do. But as an easy middle ground example, 10,000 is pretty good to be all in cash wise. The important part is they're getting $313 net. That's after mortgage, that's after taxes, that's after insurance, repairs. 313 net every single month. So what type of return is that? It's a 37% cash on cash return. Who would take a 37% return on their money? Those of you that don't have your hand up, send me your deals. I mean, the reason we want, or I can't speak for you, high return on our investment because it gets us to our goals faster. We don't have to do as many deals. I mean, if the stock market is averaging, I think I read it's 8% over the very long run, we need way less deals in the stock market for this. And then if they want to sell it, they could sell it for a profit. This is not a great fix and flip deal. But I think it's very important to be able to sell it, because if something went wrong or life changed and all of a sudden you move to Denver and you don't want to keep your business there and you want to sell, we don't want to sell it at a loss. We don't want. I like appreciation, but I call that the icing on the cake. That's my lotto ticket. I know a lot of people like to bake that into their numbers. I want to buy as if it makes money now. So if they need to sell it, they could sell it and make a tiny bit of money and not write a check right away. So that's an important thing. So we busted in a myth again. Mobile homes don't make money. Any questions on this little part here, this case study? Numbers. Anyone like this deal? Luke would buy this deal. There's a lot of quiet people in the room. All right, I'm seeing head shake. These deals, some people, they may not make Instagram sexy, but these deals move really quick and get you to that free point very fast, and so they compound really fast. That's how I did it. Compounded really, really fast.
Basic component.
What is it? Base hits, yes. And I'm not even a baseball fan, but I don't think I've ever had a deal going into it that was going to be a grand slam. I've gotten lucky in some of them. I've just gone for singles and doubles over and over and let everyone else pass them up, and I just make that consistent money. Here are the numbers real quick. Bought it for the 110. So they got 8%, 30 years. The payment, they're making $313.71. And the other number I love to look at the most is my cash on cash return. It's 37.64%. So of course they do the math ahead of time so that they know what their projections are, and then you go and do the math. I think you should afterwards, so that you can see what you did right, what you did wrong, what changed. Reviewing my deals afterwards has been a huge step in my business itself. All right, so what do we, it gave them the freedom. Didn't have to ask anyone off for work. I talked about that earlier for me. It gave them freedom. They didn't have to ask off to go to Texas, so they're in Florida, go to Texas and visit family. They get to control their time. And I mentioned earlier, they are in the rental business the most. They do some fix and flips as well, but they didn't have to ask anyone off. They could use some of the information. It translates over to single families as well. What we learned, that mobile homes rock. They allow us to be where we want, when you want, with who you want. And for me, I call that lifestyle freedom. If you haven't caught on already, I am not only selling you mobile homes, I'm selling you the freedom that the mobile homes create. I think I made that pretty obvious, but if I have to throw it in your face, that is what I believe, that's what I'm after, and that's what a lot of us, I think, are after. Mobile homes have been my accelerator to get there. When Adrian gives investors a new look at an old practice, I know investing in this area has been very profitable for me. He's in Arizona, so it works all over the country. I want to look at this one though. This is a deal that Mark Gracie, that is his daughter Harmony. Looking at that, like some people here might, like, what are you gonna do with this? I mean, I'm the buy and hold guy, so I look at that and I'm like, sweet, I can fix that and cash flow that. I already told you Mark is a fix and flipper, so he looks at that and he's like, I can fix and flip that. So what does he turn that into? I think this took about 30 days. That is an amazing before and after photo. He actually took a bunch of video stuff because he could see the end product. My brain doesn't work, I can't see the end product with it, but he knew this was going to work. And so he's in Jacksonville and Nashville. He just started Nashville last year in that market. So now he's working 2 markets. So let's look at the numbers on this one. Oh, we busted another myth that mobile homes, old ones can't be rehabbed. That's another big. So one of the things I have for you is I have 14 myths debunked. We already kind of discussed not everyone in here fully needs it, but I'm going to give you that PDF as well at the end to help you just keep that mindset up that these are myths that are not always true. So let's look at the numbers. Purchase price $38,000. His projected, these are all before. These are all projected numbers, okay? These are not real. 149. Commission, he put 5%. Florida at the time, super easy to get 1% and 2%. Realtors did not do it yet. I always get that face out of Florida. There was tons of 1% or flat rate listings and stuff. It's the realtor world. It's gotten better, but it was really rough. But he still put a 5% commission very easy. You can at least get that with his regular realtor if he wants to be conservative. The important number, he was projected to make $23,900, which is a 21.7% cash on cash returns. Oh no, he will fit you into that. Who would do that deal? What else would do? It's good. I mean, again, it's not a home run, but it works. So then afterwards, we go through our deal, and what does it look like? $57,000 net profit, which is a 53.3% net, or cash on cash. Because he was conservative. This is a real check, not a social media check. This is after taking all the money out, that is what he actually made. And this is a deal from a few years ago. Today, he's actually making bigger deals. Remember, we're in the first-time home buyer space when you're in the fix and flip. Rates have gone up, so people buy their payment, right? When they buy a home, they usually buy a payment. So rates have gone up, and people that wanted we'll say an acre, half acre, acre and a half, like wanted some land privacy, they were looking for the single-family house there, but like, oh, we can't afford that anymore. They maybe not be looking for the mobile home, but now they're like, yeah, I guess I would, because it's important for them to have that land. So demand has actually gone up in mobile homes in the last, since rates have gone up, which is that's been a year and a half, right? So we have been going up on the fix and flip side. So his checks, people haven't fully gone, are actually getting bigger and bigger. So there's still a lot of room there. All right, time. I'm gonna run through these. I do go a little bit deeper in that masterclass. These are not like dead no's if you're fix and flipping, but these are things you need to look at. Who invests in rural areas? Okay, so a lot of the room. So these may not be new to you, but for the people that are really sticking to cities, you may not think of septics. Mobile homes, they're a little bit more in the rural areas, so you have to think of septics if you're not used to thinking of septics and looking for those. No HVAC, I know it sounds crazy, but we find a lot of mobile home owners have only a window unit, or they don't have an actual HVAC that works. Flood zone, wet zone areas, again, if we're rural, sometimes that is more common. These are not no's, they're just how do you put that into your numbers. No permanent additions. We find that in all homes. We find it a little bit more in the mobile home space of the non-permanent additions. Mobile home has been moved. Jill helped bring that up earlier. I told you the one little exception on that. Do-it-yourself homeowner repairs. Again, we see a lot of that. We see people that hired the person that they met at the corner store and bought them a six-pack to come help do work. That doesn't usually pass an inspection. Amy, you've dealt with that? Private road agreements. Again, we're in the rural areas more. You might come across these. Doesn't mean you can't fix and flip it, but you need to know these because your bank might say no at the end, or say, hey, you need to fix this if you don't have those few $1,000s already in your budget, and it sucks. Everyone got their pictures? I saw a few there. You're gonna get this on that recording. All right, we've learned a lot. It's time to take action, because if you just listen, it's entertainment, and I'm not an actor, and it's not a good use of your time if you only listen and never do anything with it. So you need to take action from something here tonight. A few of my favorite quotes when it comes to taking action: the price of inaction is much greater than the cost of making a mistake. Well, I think of this is I have learned that I am good at finding commonalities of people. Like Tony Robbins finds a lot of commonalities in successful people. So I have found that successful people take some action and they fail forward. They get up, they ask their guide for help, and they do it again. They take some action and fell forward, and they never stop doing that, ever. Some people stand there until they know everything, which never happens. You never know everything. So the opportunity cost and the amount of time you're waiting, that's what this quote is hinting towards. So if you are stuck in analysis paralysis, at some point you do just need to take action and learn from your mistakes, have the right education, and then move on from it. Where you are a year from now is a reflection of the choices you make today. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes for a minute. You put your pens and pencils down, your phones. I want you to imagine it's a year from now. You've already bought a few mobile homes, and you've increased your cash flow. Well, maybe you've quit your job altogether. Maybe you dropped down to part-time. Or maybe you're just doing a few less really big rehabs. Essentially, you have more time on your hands. We get out of here tonight in a few minutes. You check your phone. You have a text from a good friend, and it says, I know it's last minute. Tomorrow's a Wednesday, but can you go to lunch for my birthday? And you can say yes. Lunch will cost you $100 or so. Maybe you have that in the budget already. Maybe you can budget within a few weeks, a month. The $100, I will tell you, was worth it to me to be able to be there with my friend. But I know it was worth more than $100 to my friend Morgan, because no one else could be there on the last minute birthday request. You can't control your future in their time without taking the right actions today to control time. And I want you to achieve this as well. Open your eyes. The last quote is, your action proves your faith. One of my coaches, Ken Holmes, but I believe he is saying with this quote is, if you are not taking action, you're saying you don't believe it's possible. And I told you I wrote a book, and I am a proof of this. What I learned, well, I was in remedial classes all through school, and I learned while writing this book that I'm dyslexic. So if a dyslexic guy can write a book, and a dyslexic guy can buy mobile homes, so can you. I don't say that to poke fun at anyone. I'm not special. I just got education, didn't give up, and kept going back and asking for help and learning and learning and learning. And that's how I got here. I just wouldn't give up. So you've got to do the same thing. Again, I'm not special and I'm not poking fun at anyone. You just have to do it. At some point, just take the action. And I know there's a lot of action takers in here. This is one of the rooms that I've talked to more people that actually already have deals, which is awesome. We just want to get to the next level. We want to quit our job and put our time in, Rich. But Rich just did that. I don't know, hopefully I didn't just spoil that or anything. Let's give Rich a round of applause. To me, that's super exciting. I mean, so my wife loves being an RN. She loves that. So we've actually worked her out of business. There's no right or wrong there. It's just, what do you love to do? And if you love real estate more, it might be time. Okay, so I told you I have a master class. This is on my website. You are not going to go directly to the website. You're going to scan that QR code and you get it for free. So I sell this. It's a recorded instant video course. There's a little bit of overlap of what we've already talked about because some people didn't get to hear this, but there's also a lot more information. We're gonna go deeper into the why of mobile homes. We're gonna go deeper into the problems we're solving. Like, we need to know the problems that mobile home owners have so that we can go there prepared to help solve them. Deeper into financing and some marketing and everything. You get it free. So there is no charge. Don't send that link all around Facebook, please. So this is only the second time I've done this. I did it in Kansas, which is where Rich saw me, and then he said, hey, you need to talk to Chris and come down here, and luckily we were able to make it work. I want you to imagine though, if you got one deal, that's it, from mobile homes, over the next few years, just like Joe and Sharon did. And you got $313 a month, every month, for the rest of the year. And then the rest of your life, predictable income. Would it be worth it to understand mobile homes and stop leaving the money on the table? Carol, wholesalers, fix and flippers, someone looking for long-term passive income. I'm gonna add in anyone in real estate there though, but she covers that pretty much everyone will benefit from this because mobile homes are another, what is the word? Another strategy. I think it was almost like a widget. So if you learn strategies, leases, options, throw out some other ones, any type of strategy you learn about single family, multifamily, they can all work in mobile homes. So the single family strategies are all different tools. Master leases, I have some on mobile homes. They can all work, but you have to understand mobile homes to implement that tool. So here it is again, the QR code. So what you're getting there, and I learned I did not explain this well in Kansas, so please make sure, if you don't understand, ask me the question. You're getting 3 things here. You're getting a checklist for networking. We talked about that. So it's my checklist. Bring some type of contact information. That is like the most frustrating thing to me. When you're networking, get the people's contact. You never know when you might need that person. Contact, but you're getting that checklist. You're getting my 14 myths debunked. We went over a few. You're getting that checklist or that PDF, and then you're getting the masterclass. You're getting all 3 different things, and you're getting it for free. So apparently I didn't do a good job last time explaining that. You are not paying for this. If you go through here, you are not paying for it. So don't go straight to the website, go through there. Any questions on any of this? I'm gonna stay longer, but I know that we wanna have an official stop time. Any questions on this here or anything I covered? Rich?
I did want to say something. I did the masterclass and it was really great for you ADHD kids like me. Watching it on 1.5 speed was like perfect. So, because you talk a little faster in person than you do on the videos,
Yes.
right? So,
And I think you can.
it'll be perfect for you at regular speed. The rest of us, pick up the tempo.
I appreciate that, Rich. I think you can go all the way up to 2x. And that was actually a really important feature that I wanted on this platform because I'm a 2xer. You do the same thing, my brain doesn't have as much time to wonder.
Yeah, I caught myself wondering because I'm like,
Yep.
I really got to talk slow.
I've learned that dyslexic overlaps a lot with ADHD,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm now studying because I think I have some ADHD.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, all right, I'll take some tips. So stop leaving money on the table. Is
Leave that here.
I can leave. I can leave. Any other questions up here? All right, and then of course we do have. I forgot that tomorrow. Did I put that slide on there? Yeah. I don't. That's for you to figure out however you sign up for that.
We've got some that register, we're gonna get those addresses out. Well, I mean, do you wanna tell the address, Nick, and that way people can scan and get signed up,
Yeah.
where we're headed?
I don't.
Yeah.
Don't go there without the group. I mean, he has this under contract. He hasn't closed it. And we don't want to overwhelm this people that still live there.
Yeah,
It's vacant, so.
Oh, it's vacant.
And
Okay.
I'm sure we'll be there a little early, right, Nick, to make sure we're ready to go.
And
So,
I think we lightly talked about it. I think 4 hours is typically the time frame that has worked for me on these. I do have to catch a flight, so I can't go much longer than that. And also plan to like bend down and get maybe dirty. We're going to try to look underneath it. We're going to look at some missing drywall. Don't come
And it's
fancy and clean.
It's not a clean house. I mean,
Okay.
it's got clutter and
The purpose of this is to get dirty and touch it
yeah.
because you stay clean when you're watching the videos.
So for those going, it is 901 East 9th Street in Fort Scott.
901
East 9th.
Now, Nick, how did you find that deal?
Let's go over that tomorrow.
Be there tomorrow, so I'm closing property.
Which is more important, a closing and a
Closing.
but well, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But I do want to cover that at the beginning if we can. A little bit of that for me is I like to go into this as blind as possible. Partially it's fun for me, but partially it just shows like that you don't have to fully prepare. That's for the overanalyzers that like to do massive amount of research before they get there. Because I have friends with that, and I used to be a little bit more on that side. I want to show you that we can just jump in. Yeah, we might make a tiny bit of a mistake, but we can figure this out as we're there. So let's maybe do a little bar talk on that. Any other questions, or I hand it back over to you?
Again, address one more time.
901 East 9th,
Okay.
Fort Scott.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Look.
That's the QR code to get signed up.
And if you're a title company that closes in Kansas, I have not submitted the title or the title company yet.
So you can wholesale it up.
I can wholesale it. It's got a assignability clause, right?
Yeah. Might be interesting.
That's right. Yeah. Chris and I talked about that, so. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, it's not got a title yet.
I will buy it for a loss and help you on your taxes.
I don't think it'll work for this one, but later tonight, Rich, let's talk about that because I actually just did that. It's a fun story. But all right, I hope to see you tomorrow. If you miss the other QR code, get with me or whatever. Give me.
Or you can leave it up. You want to leave the other one up, the master
Yeah,
class?
that's probably a good
Yeah.
idea.
Is your book on Audible?
Yes, if you like my voice, which is a little hoarse tonight, and you can even speed me up if it's too slow for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick listen on Audible. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes on 2X.
Yeah, and it's on Spotify too, which I just heard that if you have a Spotify account, you get audiobooks included in it, unlimited.
It's something like 15 hours.
15 hours?
Or 15, I don't know how many
Okay,
hours.
so that's in there. I mean, I make more money if you buy it, but I don't care. Just get the book. I get like 30 cents if you listen to it on a subscription. But no, it's good stuff. I put a lot of time and work into the book, partially because I didn't think I'd ever write a book. So it is important to me. That's why I do brag about it a lot. And I will ask, if you have the book, if you would please leave a review for me wherever you bought it. You can technically leave a non-verified review, which means you didn't purchase it on Amazon. Those mean a lot just for me to read them. It makes me feel good. But it also helps other people know what you got from it. And then Goodreads. That helps a huge amount. You should be leaving all small businesses a review, which we're all small businesses. So if you have a Google page, we should be, well, everyone here should be exchanging and doing that. I can talk forever about that. Is the simplest free thing, and you can give an integrity review even if you didn't technically do business with someone. That is huge for each other. Cool. Anything else? I'll hand it over to you, but I'm hanging out.
Yeah, Chris is gonna collect emails so that we can send this information out as
Okay.
well. So she'll have a notepad over here for emails and all of that, so.
So be on your way out.
Did anyone learn anything tonight?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. I know you're probably gonna have more questions. If we have enough people, we were able to do this with candidates. If we have enough people doing the master class, we'll just see how many people sign up for it. I can do a follow-up, just Zoom Q&A. I'm not gonna fly back out here, but we can jump on Zoom. It's the beauty of technology, and just answer questions. And at 1.5x, you might miss something. But you know, we found it was helpful there. At 3x, you miss a lot. ask me how I know. But yeah, if there's enough people that want to do that, we'll just follow up afterwards, and I'm open to doing that too.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, thank you.
Yeah, let's get around applause. So, what time is your flight this morning? 3 a.m.
Yeah, I got up at 3. It was at like 5:30
Yeah.
from Denver, and I did take a nap. That was, if anyone saw, he posted a lot for this. Really, really good posting. And I did make a comment about taking a nap. And I am a napper. I take naps. If you don't take naps, I encourage you to. They're beautiful.
Okay, we'll leave that up. Jason, do you want to be here, Ron? Sure, absolutely. Yeah.